Hey, welcome to another episode of the Rob Report. I'm your host, Robert Bob TV Brown. Before we get into this segment, by the end of this video, I want you to do a few things for me. First of all, if you like the video, hit the like button. Please do. If you don't like it, hit unlike. It's okay. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Sometimes, as Jimmy Dole would say, you find yourself unsubscribed and you need to make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell right next to it so you can be notified when a new video is being dropped. Whoop, there it is. And more importantly, the super chat will be on for this segment. So if you want to donate toward the efforts of Bob TV, that's freely up to you. I do have a job, but any amount will help toward the growth of this channel. And more important, let us help you help us by introducing you to a program. There's a link down below that says Equal Justice for All. You're going to click that video link and there's some educational tutorial about a phenomenal program in America that is really making equal justice a reality for every citizen. So this program is phenomenal. The proceeds from you participating in the program will go back, 10% will go back into the Bob TV YouTube channel. So anyway, my name is Robert Brown with the Rob Report. Let's get into it.
Blue collar, white collar, black professors, white scholars, politicians, Dalai Lamas. Everybody in the whole wide world need hope if I be honest. I'm in that number.
Hey, good day. Welcome to another episode of Rob Report. I'm your host, Robert Bob TV Brown. How you doing today? Excuse the little yellow white headphone thingy. Just trying to make sure I can hear myself pretty good on this thing. Anyway, that guy right there, Jussie Smollett, the huge star from the Empire TV series, has been receiving indictments all day long. Let's go to the video.
That's it, because it's the truth. Then it became a thing of like, oh, how can you doubt that? Like, how do you not believe that? It's the truth.
The jury says Smollett never told the truth and instead lied to two different Chicago police officers. The grand jury says the first lie happened January 29th, the night of the alleged attack, when they say Smollett told the responding officer his attackers hit him in the face while calling him racial and homophobic slurs and splashing him with some kind of chemical. The grand jury's second set of charges says Smollett lied to a detective later that day, changing the story to say the two men attacked him from behind, and when Smollett fought back, all three fell to the ground, where he said they continued to kick him. They say Smollett also told the detective one of the attackers was white. Prosecutors say Smollett paid the Osendario brothers to pull off the staged attack.
Smollett directed the brothers' attention towards a surveillance camera on the corner, which he believed would capture the incident.
Jussie, do you have anything to say to your supporters?
The grand jury decision backs up the anger Chicago's police superintendent launched against the Empire star last month.
Absolute justice would be an apology to this city that he smeared.
Within just the last few minutes, the Chicago Police Department spokesperson released this statement saying, as Superintendent Johnson stated, allegations against Mr. Smollett are shameful, and if proven, they are an affront to the people of Chicago who embraced him as a neighbor and respected him as a role model. We stand behind the work of detectives and refer any comment on indictment to prosecutors. Smollett's attorneys have not yet commented on these new developments.
If this dude did this, if you did this, bro, you need to own up to it, and you need to deal with the consequences. But 16 counts, and you're going to charge this man. You're going to give an indictment for each one of the lies that he told to each officer he told it to. It's a little extreme. Look like you're trying to make a mockery of this young black man. You know, the police and the media, they're known to do that. They want to make a mockery out of young black famous men with talent, men with gift. Now, I'm not taking that wrong. It's just like R. Kelly and Michael Jackson, anybody else. If you did this mess, you need some help. Number one, because you're trying to grab headlines, trying to grab attention for the sake of your own career. But something is wrong with you mentally when you stoop this low to make things happen like that. Now, like I said, Jussie should do the crime if he did this. If he say Tupac went to jail for his crime, so if he's the gay Tupac, you need to do what Tupac did. Pay for the crime that you committed. Now, Hopefully things turn around for this brother, but he was wrong. He was wrong for what he did. Chicago police is wrong for what they're doing to him. Okay? He need to own up to his sin, but to persecute him, to prosecute him and make a mockery out of it is unnecessary, because the dude already made a mockery of himself. You can't out-dumb him in this, because he out-dumb himself. So forget about trying to make him look bad, Chicago PD. He made himself look bad. Well, the Senate, the House, just passed a measure to make sure every presidential account is forced. No ifs, ands, and buts. You don't get to make a decision. This ain't your choice. You're going to have to show your 10-year tax return. Let me get into the story, because it's a very interesting story.
H.R. 1 restores the people's faith that government works for the public interest, the people's interest, not the special interest. Let us be very clear. This is a fight that we're taking a vote on today, but it is a fight we will not end until we win it, because it is a very fight for the Constitution. It honors the vision of our founders, gives hope to the American people that their interests are served.
The House on Friday passed legislation that would require presidents to disclose their tax returns. As Democrats have made obtaining President Trump tax returns on their top priority, the tax return disclosure requirement was included in the House Democrat wide-range election reform bill known as H.R. 1. Now, it's kind of funny. The Democrats want to pass an election reform bill when they did election rigging in 2016 primaries. But the bill is known as H.R. 1, which passed on a party line vote of 234 to 193. It is not expected to receive a vote in the Republican-controlled Senate. So in other words, Mitch McConnell is not going to bring this up to a vote, because he's a little turtle punk. All right? And he's trying to protect Trump. And for what reason? Or he's probably trying to protect him and his Republican buddies, who probably got all kind of evil crap going on in their taxes. The same thing with the Democrats. Majority of them all frauds, all of them trying to escape. But they but they only made this for the president. They ain't make it for members of Congress. All right, so like I said, it passed 234 to 193. H.R. 1 is not expected to receive a vote in Republican-controlled Senate. Under the legislation, President, Vice President, and major party nominees for those positions would be required to disclose 10 years of tax return to the Federal Election Committee. That agency would then make the returns publicly available. If a candidate or office holder failed to disclose their return, the FEC chairman would send a request to the Treasury Secretary to obtain copies of the document. An amendment was added to the bill this week so that that under the legislation, office holders and candidates would be required to disclose both their personal and business tax return. Tax return provisions are based on legislation offered by Representative Bill Pascrell, Democrat of New Jersey, and Anna Eshoo, Democratic of California. Pascrell said Friday that he and Eshoo believe that we need to write it into the record that it is demanded of everybody who run for the presidency. It should be demanded of everybody who run for office, period, for the House or the Senate, not just the presidents. It should be required for every person that's going to be in a presidential cabinet or members of the White House staff. This should go to anybody that's going to have anything to do with legislating anything or helping to push legislation. Pascrell said Democrats, including the tax return provision in H.R. 1, to highlight the fact that Trump is the first president in decades to refuse to voluntarily release his tax documents. Trump has said he won't release his returns while under audit, but the IRS has said that audits don't prevent people from disclosing their own tax information, so they're getting rid of that lame excuse. The vote also comes as House Democrats appear to be moving toward requesting Trump's tax return from Treasury. The Democrats went to review Trump returns to learn more about any potential conflicts of interest, especially any entanglements with foreign governments. There they go with this mess, as if the other president didn't have entanglements of foreign government. The House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Richard Neal, Democrat from Massachusetts, has the authority under statute to request tax returns from the Treasury Department. The Ways and Means Committee could then review the returns privately and veto the Senate report to the House that could make some or all of the information in the returns public. Neal has not given a timeline for when he'll request Trump's tax return, but others have predicted that it will be soon. Pascrell earlier this week predicted that Neal would make the request within the next couple of weeks. When asked Friday if Neal has given him a timetable, Pascrell said Neal hasn't made the final decision. Now let's unwrap this a little bit, because we know Trump is a horrible businessman. Now, a lot of you people in America, you got sold a bill of goods. You got sold a used lemon and lime car in Trump, the presidency, by the lemon and lime car himself. Everybody in New York knows Trump is a fraud. He's always trying to rip people off, always trying to take advantage of this and take advantage of this. And some of it is legal, but it's still scammy. It's still horrible and scummy. You know, there's a term said the law is legal but not logical. There's another term say it might be your right to do it, but is it right? Is it right? Like me, I'm fighting to get my job back. It might be their right to not let me come back because of train delays, but in my contract, there's a just clause contract, which means if there's a valid reason to allow this to go, then you should let it go, even though you still can ignore it. It's just a right thing to do. And Trump trying to hide his tax return, it may be his right to not unveil anything, but it may not be right, because people need to know how financially responsible you are. You're going to try to run this government, pass taxes, pass laws, give money to Saudi Arabia, try to make tax breaks, but yet you yourself are in all kind of financial messes, like me. All right, so they passing this thing. Like they said, it's not going to go past the Republicans because the Republicans, first of all, they need to make this available to anybody that's going to be doing anything in Washington, D.C., from cabinet members, staff, White House staff to congressmen, House and the Senate. That should be available to all. Because we need to know, the public, the American people need to know, what are these people involved in? And should we trust them? And how scammy they really are. We know a bunch of them are scums and scammies. But how much of a scum? How much of a dirtbag, scum, scammy, scalawag politician that you really are? Politics mean many bloodsuckers. And not only Trump is one, this dude. But I say 75% of the people on Capitol Hill, Democrat and Republicans, are trying to evade paying taxes or doing their fair share or doing something undermining with their paperwork. So, yep, so they passed that, and Nancy Pelosi, of all people, $150 million lady, wants to pass a tax law just to get into Trump taxes. Sure, she can't make it seem like it's personal. She got to make it seem like it's going out to everybody. But we know what you're doing, Nancy. We know what you're doing. You hate this guy, and you're trying to get at him. But yet he's your best friend, because you are saving a lot of tax dollars because this dude changed the tax laws. How serious are you about whipping up votes? How serious are you about Chuck Schumer going to Congress and Bernie Sanders or whoever whipping up votes to get this thing passed? Not serious at all. You know why? Because majority of you guys are punk politicians. You don't care about real working people. You only care about yourself. So sure, it look like you're doing right by the people. But we're going to see how far you're going to push this, because you're making a lot of money, saving a lot of money, thanks to this dude. Ilhan. Y'all know I got a little crush on this young lady. I think she's cute as a button, and she got a little fire with her. So I'm always going to be a little biased with Ilhan Omar. But the persecution of this young lady is horrible. We act like in America we can't, like we don't actually have freedom of speech. Like she can't speak her mind, she can't speak her heart because it's going to shame other people, or it's going to shame the party, or it's going to make the party look bad. Oh boy, let me get into this story.
Minnesota freshman Congresswoman Ilhan Omar may be in still more trouble after fellow Democrats read her latest comments on the Politico website. Omar says the hope and change offered by Barack Obama was a mirage, recalling the caging of kids at the border and the droning of countries around the world, both on Mr. Obama's watch. She says he operated within the same broken framework as his Republican successor. Quote, "We can't be only upset with Trump. His policies are bad, but many of the people who came before him also had really bad policies. They just were more polished than he was. We don't want anybody to get away with murder because they are polished. We want to recognize the actual policies that are behind the pretty face and the smile." Omar responds on Twitter, quote, "Exhibit A of how reporters distort words. I am an Obama fan. I was saying how Trump is different from Obama and why we should focus on policy, not politics. This is why I always tape my interviews." Speaking of Omar and Ocasio-Cortez, another Democratic Congressman, Dean Phillips, tells Politico, quote, "Suddenly an entire party is being branded by the perspectives of two of its members who represent 1% of the caucus."
This article, let me understand this. I was a little sketchy about Justice Democrats, a little sketchy for Our Revolution and the different organizations that was going to primarily put more people in the office that's going to shake things up and be a little more about follow along with Bernie's agenda. I got to give it to you, and I'm going to talk about Bernie next, but this dude, his strategic mind is incredible. He's basically saying, I'm going to start a revolution and raise up people who have the same mentality and same mindset that I have. That we're going to go after these, not just these crooked corporations and insurance companies and things like that. We're going after these politicians, and we're going to call it as it is. And so far, even though I got my problem with Ocasio, I got some good things about Ocasio that I've seen she done. She's in my district. She represents my particular area in New York City, in the Bronx. And, you know, most of us know her before she ran for office. She's worked in a lot of things to help out the community, fresh food and meats, trying to get prescriptions, almost like Bernie. You know, she talked the talk and walked the walk. You know, so, but these fresh new brand of people that are coming in is really shaking things up now. As far as Ayanna Pressley, she's a clean suck up. I don't trust her. I got my eye lifted up like the Rock. But Ilhan, this lady, she continued to oppress me. You know me, I don't look at parties. I look at people. She continued to oppress me with the truth she tell. Now, let me continue this video. His policies are bad, but many of the people who came before him also had really bad policies. Her talking about Trump, and then talking about people who came before Trump, his predecessors. They just were more polished than he was. In other words, she said, look, we got presidents who's doing just as horrible things as Trump. Now, the Republicans don't want you dumping on their as Jesse Lee Peterson said, they don't want you dumping on a great white hope, the fake alpha, who's really a beta. They don't want you dumping on him, but yet these other betas like Chuck Schumer and all these other people, they don't want you dumping on Obama. So you got yourself in the catch-22 where you talking about the Republicans' great white hope and the Democrats' great black hope. Or half black, half white hope in this whole situation. They act like people cannot criticize. They think just because you're part of the Democratic Party, you can't talk about our first Democratic black president. Who told you that lie? Who told you that lie? I'm not beyond criticism. I get people criticizing me on this thing all the time, especially dealing with this reparation. I love it. But you know, I'll shut it down if I have to. Who in the blue hell in heaven are you to tell this lady that she cannot criticize the President Trump? She can't criticize President Obama. She's right. Under all that pretty face and that perpendicular talk And, you know, I got to get with Michelle and get with Sasha and Malia. And we're going to go down there and we're going to talk and we're going to get with the people and we're going to give the people what they want. All that pretty hair and that singing. I am so in love with you. All that. Y'all got wooed by that stuff. At the same time, this man killing black and brown people in North Africa, his home continent. He is not American descendant of slaves. He's an African / half white, half African. He has no slave lineage. His kids do. His wife do. He don't. So it was simple. And so you can jump on me because of Ilhan. I wish she wouldn't have backtracked on this because she did. Let me finish this. She said his policies are bad, but many of the people who came before him also had really bad policies. They just were more polished than he was, Omar said. And that's not what we should be looking for anymore. In other words, we're not going to be falling for all this, nah. We're looking for real deal to the grind, to the metal people to be in politics. We want to recognize the actual policies that are behind the pretty face and the pretty smile. And Obama had that pretty face and he had that pretty smile, slim, tall, looked good in the suit, had that good perpendicular tuck, and he had his beautiful family, and everybody got mesmerized, not looking to the policies, which a lot of them was horrible. And if you mention that to some black people, they're ready to cut your throat over Obama. When the fact of the matter is, if you go to Oprah's Secret, you look at the things they vote for, you looked at the things that he implemented, is downright horrible, especially when it came to foreign relations, and him working with Hillary Clinton, who was also a horrible candidate, who tried to act like she was black people's savior, and at the same time, didn't have no problem trying to kill Gaddafi, another black man, and trying to ruin the country that he made rich. So Ilhan was right. They polished, they got that smile, they're cool, calm, and collective. And we gotta tell Pookie to put his pants up. We're gonna visit the private prison system, and we're gonna do whatever we can to shut that down. People got mesmerized by that. She said, I want people to recognize the actual policies instead of looking at their pretty face and smile. She ain't talking about Trump with the pretty face and smile, but she's talking about those policies that Trump have. We don't want anybody to get away with murder because they're polished. Now, people took this as calling Obama a murderer. They assume that she's talking about Obama in this whole piece. That's what they assume. Sure, she criticized Obama on droning. Yes, because he did too many. Same thing with Trump, droning. And most of those drones are going to North African countries, totally annihilating. We participating in genocide with our own tax dollars to these nutcases, passing these laws, giving all this money to the military complex with our tax dollars. But some of you going people getting upset over reparations. Get out of here. You need to say no and so to stop them from using our tax dollars to cause genocide in North Africa. The explosive comments about a man lionized by the Democrats were only the latest in a series of incident statements that have put the national spotlight on Omar, a Somalian American Muslim who spent 4 years in a refugee camp in Kenya. And see, that's an incredible story that most people won't even look at. This lady spent 4 years in a refugee camp in Kenya, where Barack Obama lineage is. His daddy was Kenyan. She spent time in a refugee camp in Obama's native country after her family fled the violence in their homeland in February from Somalia. So they left Somalia, went to Kenya for safety. No different from people coming from South America coming up here trying to save their lives. In February, her second month in office, Omar responded to a tweet about House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy, threatening to punish her and another congresswoman for criticizing Israel, saying it's all about the Benjamins, baby. How is that a criticism of Israel? Was she talking about Benjamin Netanyahu? No, she was singing a song about money. She tweeted a line from a Puff Daddy song about $100 bills. Critics said Omar was perpetuating a hateful trope about Jewish Americans and money. Who said that? How did you get that out of that statement? You pulled that out of your behind, because that's not all about the Benjamins, baby. It has nothing to do with anti-Semitism. Has nothing to do with Jews running the world with money, as most people say. You know, some people say, in my culture, we believe the man is trying to handle everything, and most of them are not Jews. Well, some of us do. Some people do have those ideologies that they believe Jews run the world. Some have ideology that the white man running the world and white supremacy. And there could be some hint of that's true, but that doesn't mean every Jew. That doesn't mean every white people or white person. They got misconceptions of black people. That don't mean every black person is like that. So she said something to make McCarthy upset, to make the Democrats upset of their golden child, Barack Obama. These people got so mad and so upset that they decided to pass a resolution to try to stop Islamic phobia and anti-sentiment. Saying she sparked this. How in the world she sparked this? All she said was, it's all about the Benjamin. It's all about the money that these donors are donating. It ain't got nothing to do with AIPAC, even though AIPAC do lobby for policies. And AIPAC does not represent most Jewish people. Yet it does have Jewish people in it. It has American in it. AIPAC have Chinese in it. AIPAC is an organization with multiple races in it. And they're loaded. And they use their dollar power to try to con politicians so they can push their agenda. The organization, AIPAC. Got nothing to do with Jewish people. Don't you ever tie Jewish people up to no freaking organization. There's an organization, black organizations. I'm not affiliated, even though I agree with Louis Farrakhan on something. I'm highly critical on Louis Farrakhan on other things, and I'm not part of the Nation of Islam. So if somebody talk about the Nation of Islam, do that mean they talking about all black people? No. So why are you going to think this woman talking about all Jews because she made a statement about a political organization? Get out of here. And why in the world you going, and even, you know, she can make a statement about what's going on with the Jewish state, not talking about the people, but the Jewish government. Just like I don't agree with the American government, but that don't mean I don't like my fellow Americans and of all colors, and that don't mean I'm anti-American. I'm just anti-decisions that the government make on behalf of us, oftentimes at our expense. So go ahead with this stuff. Let me continue to read. I'm almost done. Jewish lawmakers. It said the ensuing firestorm rattled the Democratic House majority and spurred days of recriminations, intense negotiations that led to a compromise package condemning bigotry that sailed through the House on Thursday, with only 23 Republicans voting against it. It went through the House and it's probably going to go through the Senate. And what it is anti-speech laws. I mean, if you got this twisted way of thinking about black people or Jews, that's your butt. If you want to mouth off about that, that's your butt. I ain't got to listen. I'm not trying to legislate your speech. But that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to muzzle people in Congress' mouth from talking about certain segments of society. And it's not necessary. The people that they're talking about, they may be critical of the government that represents that country, and they're trying to stop them from talking about that government. No different from Jeff Bezos, who won't hire you and will fire you if you say anything about him in his so-called free press newspaper, the Washington Post. 23 Republicans voted against this. That's it. The party left wing, led by New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, say Omar was being singled out, and she's right, when others at the highest level of government has said the same freaking thing and said things that were worse than that and escaped censor. Because that's all this is, the censorship. More moderate Dems, including Jewish lawmakers such as New York Eliot Engel, wanted the resolution to focus only on anti-Semitism as a direct response to Omar's comment, which questioned the loyalty of politicians who accept donations from pro-Israel PACs and organizations. Ultimately, after days of the chaos and acrimony, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was able to unite her caucus in a big box and a big majority of Republicans to back the compromise. And Omar, along with Rashid Tlaib of Michigan, the first Muslim woman in Congress, says she's willing to keep speaking out and be Republicans' punching bag if it helps advance her agenda, a prospect that likely makes many of her fellow Democrats cringe. This is the problem I got with this is supposed to be America, who's supposed to be pride in free speech. You may not like what I got to say. If you don't like it, take your ears and your behind somewhere else. I got a right to stand up and say what I want to say. She wasn't using racial slurs. She talked about an organization that tries to put money in pocket of our government, just like any other lobbyist organization. That's what they do. Put money in the pockets of politicians that's going to advance their agenda, and she was right. And she was right about Obama. And there are a lot of other politicians. People talking about Joe Biden. Joe Biden might be, the second best thing to Obama. That is no compliment. No compliment. You go look at his record of legislation and you'll find out that is no compliment. So to beat on this lady, to ostracize her because she speaks truth to power, does this country no good. When there's other people who said worse. The way Republicans were talking about Barack Obama, they're putting up monkey faces and everything. Talking about, and you going to get on Ilhan because she tells the truth about an organization. And then she tells the truth about a government or a former president. So you're going to legislate the opportunity for us to have free speech. And then for this fool politician who's trying to make sure it go further than that just to shut her up. Why? You just make yourself look like an idiot when you on purpose try to support legislation to stop somebody in Congress from speaking out. It's no different than when Elizabeth Warren tried to say a quote by Coretta Scott King. They're going to try to shut up. No, you shut up. You don't like what I got to say, walk off. And if you allow these politicians to push legislation like this without you getting on the phone and calling them and telling them about themselves, Nancy Pelosi included, I'm going to be calling Chuck Schumer. Casio is doing the right thing, but I'm going to be calling Chuck Schumer and anybody else who pushed this legislation. Of course, he's going to push it because he's in bed with AIPAC too. Yeah, I said it. And he's taking money from them too. There's certain people you just can't trust, and here's one. Ilhan, baby girl, let me put my hand over here. Baby, you know I love you. Keep doing this. Keep doing what you do, baby. Keep doing what you're doing. I love you. I really appreciate you. You keep being that firebrand, baby. You keep telling it like it is, like your dream husband, Robert Brown. I know you're married, but you married the wrong one. Let me stop.
Every year, millions of people face legal and identity theft issues. You can take control of your legal rights and identity with Legal Shield and ID Shield. As a Legal Shield member, you'll have direct access to a dedicated law firm, so you can take proactive steps to protect your legal rights, such as having your rental agreement reviewed, your will prepared, and receiving legal guidance for things like a dispute with a neighbor or creditor. Your law firm can also write a letter or make a phone call on your behalf, and is even available 24/7 for emergency situations. And with the Legal Shield mobile app, you can quickly call your law firm, access legal forms, upload your speeding ticket for review, and have your will prepared. With ID Shield, your personal information will be monitored across the internet, including black market websites and government databases. We provide child, credit, and social media monitoring too. If any discrepancies with your identity are found, you'll receive an alert. You can use the ID Shield mobile app to track your alerts and your credit score. If your identity's been stolen, a dedicated team of licensed private investigators are there at the touch of a button 24/7 to restore your identity. Get the legal and identity theft protection you need and deserve with Legal Shield and ID Shield.
Burn, baby, burn. Hey, this is Rob Brown with the Rob Report. How you doing today? Hey, Bernie Sanders is on the rise. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's on the rise. And his numbers are doing good. Everything is going great. The man raised $25 million in less than 1 week. He has over 1 million volunteers on the ground. His message is clear and precise. It's one that speaks to every aspect of America. Now, I know certain people in American society have their agendas and they expect to get it from different politicians. You got the Republicans, you got ADOS, you got the Jewish Federation. I mean, you got so many people that's saying, look, we're going to apply some pressure on you that if you don't take a look at what we need, and forget us. And like I said, that's where they're right. ADOS is saying, look, ain't no tangibles, baby, no support for reparation. We ain't voting for you. But they're not the only people that's doing that. There's a certain segment of Jewish society that's doing that. There's certain segments of the Vietnamese society that's saying, if you're not going to do more for the Vietnamese people, that you came and tortured and tormented, over a fake war. Everybody has their agenda when it comes to these elections, and I understand that. Push your agenda. But when it comes to Bernie Sanders, agenda is not going to affect him, number one, and you're not going to really be successful using your agenda to paint him out to be something other than anti-working class people. He spent years trying to build that. Now, I know some of you going to get mad at me. I don't give a crap whether you get mad at me or not. I will always tell you the truth. And the truth being, whether it's ADOS, do your thing, ADOS, push for reparations. I can't tell you I can't force you to vote, and you're strong on this, no tangible, no vote. That's you got to do your thing. But every black people ain't going to get involved with that. Not every ADOS is going to get involved with that because they got current needs that they need right now. And one person, honestly, I don't think one president, even though they support it, is going to make it happen. It takes a president. It takes a Congress. It takes voting in people that's going to be on the side of that agenda. Not just from the presidency, but in Congress. And that's why Bernie's momentum is strong, because don't you dare think he don't hear you. And don't you dare think that he don't realize that people saying they're not going to vote for him. But then again, you look at anybody else, they're not for reparations. So bottom line, you're not voting for any Democrat. Trump is not looking for trying to do reparations, so you're not going to vote for him. Green Party are for reparations, but you don't think they got a chance and that they have no power to make any things happen. I'm basically saying, so you got to have the demand out there, and I respect the demands of the Vietnamese and the American descendants of slaves and other different cultures out there that's making a demand with their vote. This is right. This is what you're supposed to do. You got a lot of progressives when it came to 2016. If you wasn't supporting Medicare for all, $15 minimum wage, they wasn't voting for you. So it's no different. So I understand why the progressives get mad at ADOS or I can't for the life of me, I can't think of the name of the Vietnamese organization that's doing the same thing as ADOS. You can't get mad because you did the same thing in 2016. You're not for Medicare for all. I'm not voting for you. But here's the deal. Bernie Sanders' campaign is strong and tougher than leather. And I'm just telling the truth. Sanders is off and running with a great start. His combination of people power is powerful. His grassroots on the ground and the money campaign is working together like a machine. Imagine that over 1 million people joined the Bernie Sanders army. And they're of all cultures. White women, black women, Asian, Hispanics, Arabs, all coming together with that agenda. That's going to be hard to stop that. You might kind of stick it in the side a little bit, but it's going to be something that this machine is going to be able to shake off. His message is clear and precise, and it's been like that for a while. $15 hour minimum wage. People need that now. That's what I'm saying. Me, even though I have my own personal agenda that I'm going to base my vote on, but I'm not a one issue person. So there are other things that I want too. See, people accuse Bernie Sanders to be a one issue candidate in 2016. Even Hillary Clinton tried to push that bull crap when he wasn't. He had a platform of a whole bunch of things that he wanted to do as president. $15 hour minimum wage, climate issue, dealing with climate issues, dealing with the banking regulations and making it easier for people to get loans, deregulating the big banks so community banks can have more opportunity to grow and expand in every community. Healthcare, elderly care, transportation, the whole 9 yards. He was pushing this. So the same thing he's pushing then, he's pushing now. And that message is resonating because right now, people are trying to get into college and don't have the money. Right now, people need a livable wage so they can be sustained. I mean, I understand my people, we want that reparation. To me, I mean, if you just gave out a few $1,000s a month to black people, that would be a great start. Not across the board. Just if you're going to get $1,000 to all Americans, $3,000 to a month for ADOS. They deserve it. We deserve it. But I realize that's not the only problem I have. I got a family member right now that's on death door. Right now, losing their house. Right now, they can holler reparations, but reparations is not going to be enough for them to help them with that situation in the next 6 months. But they do need a health care. I mean, you know, they do need to try to save their home. So if they did get better, they still have a home. So there's a lot of things we need now, and there's a lot of things we can get as we progress along once we get the right people in office. Now, let me go back to Sanders' campaign. You saw that little black girl holding that sign, "Burn, Baby, Burn," and her dad was right next to her with his sign. The myth of the Bernie bro is gone. It's dead and gone. You can't put it on just young white collegiate nerves anymore. You can't. That Brooklyn rally, it was all colors there, strong. And a lot of them was black. Bernie has gained more steam with blacks than ever before. Now, sure, to me, he's not strong on black issues, and he need to get more stronger. To me, he need to circle himself more. He had a team before, but he need to not only delegate certain people to deal with black issues, he need to be heavily involved with those black issues. He need to be going to black areas and spending time with black people and hearing from black people. And he need to do that with everybody. No. Yes, that's true, but he really need to do that because it's the black vote that's been carrying the Democratic Party at 90% from women and men. And right now, black vote is saying, hey, we ain't going to be played no more. And he need to recognize that and say, okay, what can I do to be a blessing to you? And reparation may be one thing on the table, but we need better health care. We need preventive care. We need to be able to go to the doctor anytime we need to at the point of visitation and get the help we need and be able to come back not having a bill. We need to be able to go to school and get a better education without having a bill. We need to have access to daycare without worrying about a big bill or a big budget. There's certain things that we need now too. Not just one thing, but a bunch of things. And a lot of those things Bernie are talking about, I hate that he's not supporting reparations right now at this moment, but you never know. The pressure of saying no, the pressure of always slapping him in the face with the issue whenever he's around, it sends a message. It seals you, especially when you do it when the other black people around him. So if you ever see him with Nina or anything like that, you go to him and ask him. And ask him with respect. Because being nasty about something ain't going to get that man decide on your needs. Bernie Sanders' approval rating across demographics, 58% among women. In general, white, black, it doesn't matter. That is huge. 58%. 55% with men. 62% of young voters, 18 to 34, more than half of Americans, young Americans, are feeling the burn, so to speak. African Americans, 73%. So even though I am for people pushing their agenda in the face of Bernie Sanders, slapping them to the left and right with them, understand this, that a lot of people that are ADOS is not going to fall into that campaign even though it's a good campaign. But if you're talking about a no vote, a lot of them are not going to fall for that. They're not going to go to that extreme because there are some things that they need right now that Bernie is pushing. Got to let it marinate a little bit. Hispanics, 68%. Asians, 62%. Whites, 52%. Most of the Democrats, 80% of Democrats on this side. They don't even go into how many independents on this side. So the man is a juggernaut that is on a fast bullet train to winning because he got so much support from all these demographic, not to mention Republicans that's starting to trust him more than Trump on real issues that they're dealing with, whether it's in the red states or the blue states that are rural areas. Rural areas, farm country, coal mining country, it doesn't matter whether it's on the beaches of Florida or whatever. They see that this man is trying to get policies implemented that's going to help all Americans, and that's why all Americans of all these Democrats are going to go for him. It's not going to be that easy to get all these other people away from him. So his numbers are strong. Bernie's in a good position. Now, I know everybody's going to try to look for the gotcha. They're going to try to scandalize this man's candidacy. And, hey, it's just part of the game. Look for the dirt on the person to make their numbers go down and make people abandon them and go somewhere else. Well, this man been doing this for a while. And to get to think you're going to beat him at this game, it's not going to be that easy. It's not going to be that easy. Bernie Sanders' ground game is tight. He's obliterated the myth of the Bernie bro. His policies are polling very well. And he's not going to do anything to jeopardize that. Now, the reparations for him is not polling well because he said he's against it. But like I said, you got to understand, doesn't mean he's not ever going to be for it. That's the reason why you put political pressure on certain politicians, because even though they was not for it, years later they're for it. And yeah, you can hold your vote until years later. Like, for an example, Obama and Hillary Clinton wasn't for the LGBTQ community. They never thought about courting it, but Biden was. And Biden pushed them over to that sooner or later. But as running for office, they wasn't. But in the second term, to lock in that vote, they went for it. They went for it. So even though with my ADOS brothers and sisters, the Vietnamese doing their things, Hispanic doing their things concerning things that matter to them, a lot of them attaching no votes to it too. This is what's going to cause Bernie to win. And there's nothing we can do about it. First of all, I got my one eye open with Bernie Sanders. I'm not 100% throwing this person off. You know, I'm not 100%. I'm not saying I'm not voting for him. I'm not 100% saying I'm going to vote for him. Right now, there's a lot of great candidates out here. And right now, I'm looking at this one candidate in the Green Party because that's where I normally put my vote to it, because they support reparations, and Bernie Sanders' policies has been their policies for decades. It's as if Bernie Sanders were originally ran in the Green Party, because a lot of that stuff he co-opted, or he believed in those policies, and he made it part of his platform because he believed that. And he won over and over again in Vermont on that. And he's in a great position to win over as presidency on that. And if he do my caveat of having Nina Turner as vice president, she's able to run, continue to help Bernie's vision go along. Yet she would be the strongest person to really bring reparations to. If you're going to bring reparations to a white man and think he's going to sign, seal, and deliver on that, that ain't going to be easy. I don't care who it is. But if you got somebody like a Vice President Nina Turner and she ends up being president, you got something to work with. I'm going to champion the person who champions me. Who champions not just me, but my entire family. Champion things that I believe that he can get done now, or she can get done right now in the next 4 years. things they could do in the next 10 years. Right now, we got people, they have now issues right now. And if a candidate is running to help them with their now issue, they're gonna vote for him. Andrew Yang's, that $1,000 a month tax credit and releasing people out of jail on March the 20th, that is resonating. A lot of people can use that $1,000 a month, and he know exactly where it's going to come. Right now needs. Yes, there's some things I really believe in, but I need some right now needs too. My children, healthcare costs as high as crap. I need a little help, man. Between my rent in New York and car payment and gas and insurance and daycare and night care, I need a little help. That's a now issue. I need I need to get some medical procedures done. I got this is hurting over here, that's hurting over there. I need to go see the doctor. But man, last time I went, my bill was $10,000 and I only stayed in there for about 5 hours. I need some help. I need something now. Medicare for all will help out with that situation. So, all right. So in saying all this, Bernie's ground game is tight. The money is there and the money keep pouring in. I got to give props what props is doing right now. I don't think nobody's right now going to be able to knock him off running for office right now. Not even Trump. And I don't think nothing's going to stop them because Trump is not going to have that kind of power that Bernie Sanders have. And I don't think nothing's going to stop this guy from making it. But hey, it's only a year. It's not. I mean, this is just a few months in 2019. The election is until November 2020. But his ground game is strong. 1 million+ volunteers. His money is long and it's getting longer. So he got enough money for the ads and staff and the whole 9 yards, and making sure money going into there. He don't need the DNC. The DNC don't like him. They're not going to support him. They're going to stab in the back. They're going to rig it against him. He should have ran independent. I don't understand that. And yes, even though he has over 1 million people volunteering, even though his money is long, the Democratic Party is going to find some way to try to screw this guy over. Even after he sat there and sold his soul to the Democratic Party and saying that I'm going to support the person, if I don't win, I'm going to support the person that is nominated. I won't. The campaign is strong. And if they know what's good for them, they will not cheat him this time, because it's definitely going to guarantee 4 more years of Trump. If they're so anti-Trump and you got people with like what's his name, the head of the DNC, Tom Perez. Well, Trump is our greatest threat of all times. He's the most horrible candidate, our greatest threats, and we got to win this thing with our values and by coming together. Man, go ahead with that crap, man. Go ahead with that crap. If you cheat Bernie Sanders, man, it's going to hurt your party. Well, like I said, 9 times 10, I'm voting green. That's just my choice, because I know what they've been believing in for the long time, and they are for reparations. 9 times 10, I'm voting green. I may vote for Bernie Sanders in the primaries, may not. It depends on how he handled the reparations and really pushing himself out there to make sure he's really got the back of the black community. He got time. He have a community of the willing that are black people that's on this team. And I'm quite sure as people like ADOS keep pressing the issue about doing more for the black community and throwing it in their face and throwing it in his face every time they get a chance, he will come to this direction. It will never happen. Nobody ever comes to your direction by free will. I wish it was that way, but nobody really does that. Obama didn't even do that, and he was half black. It's that applied political pressure that's going to cause people to sit down, hear you out, open their heart and consider it and move on it. That's why I'm employing ADOS to keep up the good work. Put that threat out there. That threat is strong. It's shaking up people. It's shaking up most of the Democrats. It ain't doing too much of Bernie, And the reason I say it's not going to do too much of Bernie right now It's because of that chart I showed you. He got a whole bunch of black people on this side. Whether they're immigrant blacks or ADOS black, he got a lot of black support. And it's not tapering away and going over to the ADOS agenda. Not right now, but it could change. You can have a start based on how he handled reparations and any of the black issues that he need to tackle with right now, and stop worrying about your policies and listen to the black people. The way he handled that in the next year will determine whether that black support get chipped off and go the full ADOS, no tangible, no vote route. We got plenty of time. His way of handling, and don't come telling me about his policy. Now, don't come telling me about that. He have to, on purpose, get down there in the trenches over here in the black community and sit and listen and let us give you some advice instead of you acting like you know it all. Don't be doing us like Hillary Clinton did Black Lives Matter, telling us what we should do. No, we're telling you what you should do concerning the community. If he don't get out of his own frame of mind, I understand strategy, stay with the message, and you're going to continue to get support. But if he don't come to a conclusion that, hey, I am also running to be the president of Black America, and sit with Black America. Don't send no surrogates. Sit with Black America himself. No, I like Killer Mike. I like Harry Belafonte, all that. But you yourself, sit there with your pen and pad and go to the ground for some of the needs of the black community outside of the needs for majority community. If you don't do that, I'm prophesying to you, you're going to chip away from the black vote. You're going to take your own chisel and chip off black support, Bernie Sanders. May not be on the immigrant side, but it will be on the ADOS side. There's some ADOS people that support Bernie Sanders. They're not part of the ADOS 101, and they're not part of the no tangible, no vote. They're just literally descendants of American descendants of slaves who support Bernie. And there's a bunch of them out there. But let me tell you something. If Bernie Sanders don't start addressing those ADOSs and their needs, then even those which are there will begin to get chipped away. Because now he's not really taking black people serious. And right now, black people have been the winning factors of the Democratic Party. Bernie is a different deal because he's not your normal Democrat. As some people would say, he's not a Democrat. Bernie have huge support with the independent. So he only need a certain percentage of the black vote. He don't need every black vote because he have the independent vote. Would it be smart to go for all the black votes that you can get? That will be smart, because in this election, you don't need a barely winning strategy by having 90% of the black people come out and vote for you. That's what's happening in Alabama. That's what happened in Florida. And that's what happened in Virginia. You need to get every vote. And doing that, you stay with your message of helping all people. You continue to keep your solid demographic the way it is. But you better make sure that you put yourself in a position to get a blowout by doing whatever you need to do to make sure you still get that 90% black vote. 90% black vote with 90% or at least 60% of the independent vote, which is the biggest voting block, he can win. But the moment he starts chipping off and acting like he don't care for black people, he's going to lose that 90% black support that the Democrats normally get. And like I say, he'll make up for it. But come on. Come on, Bernie. You need the independents and you need the black support. So pay more attention to them. Baby girl look cute with her burn baby burn. Bernie, we ain't getting out of your face with this, man. You got to pay more detailed attention to the black community, because the black community is fed up with politics. And they're going to show you this year. So the ball is in your court now, not theirs. Chelsea Manning, I was going to call him David Manning. Yeah, David Manning is the wildfire preacher. They be calling Trump the orange orangutan. I can't, his mama, I can't stand him. Former Trump-loving, now Trump-hating preacher. I like that guy, to tell you the truth, man. David Manning, go look him up on YouTube.
Courage, Our primary concern at this point is her health while she is confined, and we will be paying close attention.
Can you tell us what Judge Hilton did say?
Judge Hilton did find her in contempt in open court and did order her remanded to ADC.
Will you appeal the...
I think it's quite likely. This is an appealable order.
Did you get a chance to talk to Chelsea after the decision came back?
I did.
How's she doing?
As I said, Chelsea has tremendous courage.
What sort of timeline is there to something like this? How long could she potentially be held?
She can be held for the term of the grand jury and in no event longer than 18 months.
A judge has held Chelsea Manning in contempt in Alexandria, Virginia, as she being detained after refusing to testify about her disclosure of military and diplomatic secrets to WikiLeaks in 2010. The former Army intelligence analyst who served about 7 years in prison for a massive leak objected to the questioning in a grand jury appearance on Wednesday in Virginia. Her testimony appears to be part of a continued effort by federal prosecutors investigating the founder of WikiLeaks, Julian Assange. Imprisoning me for my refusal to answer questions only subjects me to additional punishment for my repeatedly stated ethical objection to the grand jury system, Manning said in a statement Friday, posted on a Twitter account. Manning's attorney, Maura Melser Cohen, said she would likely appeal the order by Judge Claude M. Hilton, and that Manning could be held behind bars for the term of the grand jury, but not longer than 18 months. Asked if Manning was prepared to stay in prison for 18 months, Melser Cohen said, "We are not there yet." Let me stop this because this is stupid. This is so stupid. This individual, this brave, gutsy individual, for the safety of America, for the people of America, expose America for the crap that they do behind closed doors. When you don't see, when the camera's not on. I mean, she saw the horrors what were going on in that at that time. So yeah, she did a massive leak because she felt that, hey, this is not America. This is not good. I want to do the American public know about it. Will the American public approve of it? The American public need to see it. And she allowed that to happen. She couldn't do it on her own because she lacked the power. He, at that time, didn't think it was right. So he gave the information to WikiLeaks, who are known. WikiLeaks is the best at exposing the truths about things that go on in our country or things that go on around the world. They're truth tellers. And there are an army of them out there. I can't get the word right now that's on my mouth. But she already did the time for doing it. Now you want to drag her, and she was released by Obama. Now you want to drag her back to court, threatening to hit her with 18 months because she don't want to testify against this guy who did no freaking wrong. All he did was report the news. Whether it was good news, bad news, if it exposed governments, who cares? He reported what the American people need to know. That's what WikiLeaks is known for. That's their job. It's to expose the wrong that is being done in secret. And she gave the information to him, and he shared it with the world, and it was horrible. And now you want to get mad at him and throw him in jail or possibly kill him at the expense. I'm talking about Julian Assange at the expense of Chelsea Manning. Chelsea Manning is gonna man up. I mean, Chelsea is gonna undergird, tighten up, and just take the 18 months. People like her and Snowden, and no, that's. I mean, look, they're willing to die for their country. So you threaten them with 18 months is, number one, is wrong. Number two, It's not going to stop her. She's not going to rat on that man. And I would say rat because he is no rat. He's one of the best things that has ever happened to our society. And he exposed the government and made the government look fool. Don't get mad at Chelsea Manning. Don't get mad at Julian Assange because you guys got caught up in your mess. Own up to it and leave these two people alone. They didn't do anything but the right thing. Yeah, they got to watch them because you don't know what these fools might do. Next thing you know, you'll be brought in. You standing up for your rights. You doing the right thing. And next thing you know, they're going to take you in and Sandra Bland you. You honestly believe, you want me to think that Sandra Bland actually hung herself in jail after a fighter? Fighters don't hang themselves. Quitters do. Manning said this week that she had been offered immunity as part of her grand jury deal. So they say, okay, we're going to let you go if you can rat out. She's not going to do that, dog. A prosecutor at the contempt hearing Friday, Tracy Doherty McCormick, said that the government does not want to confine Ms. Manning. It has always been our intent and hope for her to testify and comply with the valid court order and the valid grand jury investigation. Ms. Manning could change her mind right now and do so. It's her choice, Doherty McCormick said in court. Well, Doherty McCormick, I want you to remember this while you're in court. It ain't happening, Captain. For the good of America, she'll go through this. She ain't no punk. She ain't no rat, and you're not going to be able to do that. She's going to protect Julian Assange because she is the reason why Julian Assange, they work together. So she's not going to do that. Manning, the hearing Friday was held mostly under seal, and the prosecutor's statement was provided by a spokesman for the U.S. Attorney Office from the Eastern District of Virginia, where the hearing was held. Manning was arrested in 2010 and later charged with leaking thousands of classified files after an 8-week military trial in 2013. She was found guilty of several counts, including violations of the Espionage Act, which Hillary Clinton violated, and she didn't go to jail, and sentenced to 35 years in prison, which Hillary Clinton didn't go through. That sentence was commuted by President Barack Obama in 2017, one of the great things that Barack Obama did. Officials questioned Manning under oath about the leak of several hours as part of a court-martial. The grand jury question pertained to the disclosure from 9 years ago and took place 6 years after an in-depth computer forensic case in which I testified for almost a full day about these events. I stand by my previous public testimony, Manning said Friday. WikiLeaks and Assange, who was held up in the Ecuadorian embassy in London, have factored into the investigation by special counsel Robert Mueller into potential collusion with Russia and President Donald Trump campaign, which they had nothing to do with it. Everybody had access to those leaks. And it wasn't WikiLeaks, it was DC Leaks and other leak organizations that did it, unfold that information about the Democratic Party. In his public testimony in Congress last week, former Trump attorney Michael Cohen alleged that he had witnessed a speakerphone call between the then candidate and Stone, an informal campaign advisor where Stone told Trump that he had just gotten off the phone with Julian Assange. Yeah, right. That dude is lying. You could always check somebody's record and see if they got on the phone with somebody. And had learned that there would be a massive dump of emails that would damage Hillary Clinton's campaign. Everybody knew the dump was coming. We called it dump day or something like that. And it's probably going to happen this year in the election too. Everybody knew that Thursday and Friday was a dump of information. So that was no secret between Stone and Julian Assange. Everybody knew that stuff was coming. My grandma knew about that. My little baby niece knew about that, and she's a baby. Stone, who has been indicted on charges of making false statement, witness tampering, and obstructing justice, has denied discussing the matter with Trump or having any such interaction with WikiLeaks. He is fighting his charge in court. Prosecutors' interest in Assange, however, dates to 2010, when his site first posted the files leaked by Manning, which included millions of State Department cables and classified videos of U.S. helicopters firing on civilians and journalists in Iraq in 2007. The fact that a grand jury is interested in hearing about Manning's interaction with WikiLeaks in 2010 could indicate that the Justice Department is still interested in pursuing Assange in relation to the publication of these sensitive documents. Why are you going to go after him? He's just reporting the news. He didn't leak the documents. He didn't hack into the computers. The information was given to him, just like the tapes from Watergate was given to what's his name? I can't even think of the news reporters. Last year, prosecutors in the Eastern District of Virginia, where Manning was subpoenaed to appear before the grand jury, mistakenly revealed in court filing that they had prepared sealed charges against Assange. Another judge in the same court this year declined a report group motion to unseal those charges. The federal prosecutors who tried that case, Gordon D. Cromberg, also requested the subpoenaed compelling Manning's testimony earlier this year, according to a copy of the subpoena provided by CNN by representatives for Manning. Julian Assange is an American hero, a national treasure to the world. Chelsea Manning is a national treasure to this world. Yeah, I said it. Your boy in Russia right now, what's his name? Edward Snowden, national treasure. These people who have guts to unveil the horrible secrets of the United States and make public to the American public so they can know these things. Yet they're criminalized. They're marginalized. This Chelsea did the time. Obama released Chelsea. So now you're going to put her in jail because she won't rat out a news organization that reports the news and the editor and the guy running the organization? Do you understand that everybody knew that Dump Friday was coming, and that's when those leaks usually come? So it wasn't just Roger Stone. Roger Stone wasn't the only person knowing that. And anybody believe Roger Stone telling the truth is crazy. He's one of the biggest lies around. The only person to outlie him is Hillary Clinton or Trump. He's probably third place. Michael Cohen is number 4. All these liars. You're going to listen to the liar Michael Cohen lying about another liar who worked for, both of them worked under another liar who won the election to another liar. So all these liars, but here you are, you got people who are for truth, justice, and the American way, and letting the American public know what's going on in our military and in our different departments in government, exposing the dark secrets. You're going to punish them and not punish all these liars. Man, get out of here. Now, Chelsea Manning is going to be tough as nails. She ain't going to rat him out. Our government hate Julian Assange. That's why he's stuck it up in the embassy right now, because he's fearing that somebody's going to try to kill him for doing what he need to do, and that's exposing the government of the dark secrets that that goes on within the government that most people don't know about. Yeah, they're ostracized and punished and thrown in jail, and yet we got all these other fools doing all these other things in Congress, in the White House, and you're going to pick on somebody who did the time for the crime. Obama released them, and now you want to put them back in jail because they wouldn't rat out the person who all this stuff started with. Shame on you, government. I am all for transparency in government. And our government wasn't so transparent about the things were going on. I can understand the top secret stuff need to be kept quiet, but flying around in a helicopter killing innocent people for nothing, including journalists, that's uncalled for. You're not going to stop Chelsea Manning. This is a real deal patriot, a real deal soldier who were willing to die for her country. And you think throwing her in jail for 18 months because they won't rat somebody out is going to bring her down? Get out of here. Hey, I want to give a shout out to those who contribute to Raw Report. Marie Taylor, Journey 3, Christine Omer, Anita Villa, Richard Cleveland, Sheila Brown, Jason Beckford, and last but not least, and Jason Boldazar, all donated. Anita Wells donated, Jason Boldazar, Jason Beckford, and Sheila Brown. So I want to thank you for donating to the efforts of Bob TV. We really appreciate your support. And anybody else, you're always free to donate. We do have a budget every month on our GoFundMe page. But also, you can also donate to the PayPal page. All right, so I'm Robert Brown with the Rob Report. I'll holler at you later. Appreciate your support. Peace.